A volcano erupting is a truly profoundly terrifying thing. Nobody ever wants to be near something like that, but you still can't help but be curious about it, right? Well, don't you worry. If you want to know what a volcano eruption would be like without having to get close to it, we've got the footage for you. These are volcano eruptions caught on camera. Number 15. Mount Sinabung. Mount Sinabung is an 8,070-foot stratovolcano in North Sumatra, Indonesia, around 25 miles from the Lake Toba supervolcano. After having not erupted for 400 years, Mount Sinabung finally showed its strength during an eruption in August 2010. It has been continuously active ever since. After that first eruption, villagers have been living with a lot of uncertainty. The following month, villagers had to leave their homes once more, with ash spewing out of the volcano up to 1.9 miles high. There were even 2 eruptions in one day, and one was so strong it was felt about 8 kilometers away. 3 years later, in 2013, Mount Sinabung erupted again, with over 3,700 people having to be evacuated. 2 months later, villagers were once again made to evacuate. Not only were people having to deal with constant interruptions in their life, but crops were dying due to ash, and the area experienced economic uncertainty. After a further eruption in December of that year, a lava dome formed on the volcano's summit. That wasn't the end of the locals' problems. The next month, in January 2014, it erupted and sent out a 13,000-foot-high column of ash into the sky. This damaged property and crops and poisoned animals. Villagers around Mount Sinabung are now experiencing eruptions multiple times a year. Like this video, smash the subscribe button and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping. Number 14. Villarrica Volcano. One of the most active volcanoes in Chile is called Villarrica, and it's positioned above the lake and town sharing the same name. The volcano is known as the westernmost of 3 huge stratovolcanoes that go from the northwest to the southeast and are protected within Villarrica National Park. During the summer months, you can actually take guided trips up this volcano, but you won't find me going near an active volcano, especially not this one, since it's one of the few volcanoes with an active lake within its crater. The combination of rainfall, melted snow, and glacier ice can cause huge lahars, which are mud and debris flows. Villarrica Volcano is 9,380 feet tall, and eruptions have been recorded on it since the city of Villarrica was founded back in 1552. Unsurprisingly, the location of the city today is not where it used to be. It's thought that volcanic hazards and mid-16th century eruptions caused the eventual move of the city to its location today. One of the most recent eruptions was in 2015, when low ash emissions and minor explosions were recorded. 10 days later, another eruption occurred until, on March 3rd, a loud explosion and eruption resulted in nearly 3,500 people being evacuated. Number 13. Mount Merapi. If there's one volcano you don't want to be near when it erupts, it's Mount Merapi. This stratovolcano is located north of Yogyakarta in central Java, Indonesia, and is Indonesia's most active volcano. It erupts at least once every 5 to 10 years and is greatly feared. This is because it has deadly pyroclastic flows, which are avalanches of gas and hot rocks. You can't blame people for being scared, especially since thousands of people live on the flanks of the volcano. Perhaps the most damaging volcanic eruption to date, and there have been many, was in October and November 2010. During this eruption, villagers living within 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles of the volcano were told to evacuate. That included around 19,000 people in total. Over the weekend of October 23rd and 24th, 2010, there had been about 500 volcanic earthquakes, with magma rising to about 3,300 feet below the surface. By the time the volcano calmed down again, about 150 93 people had been killed and 320,000 were displaced. The death toll increased again by November 24th, with 324 people dead after more bodies were found on the volcano's slopes and burn victims succumbing to their injuries. Number 12. Klyuchevskaya Sopka Volcano. The Klyuchevskaya Sopka volcano is a stratovolcano and the tallest mountain in Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula. It's also the highest active volcano in all of Eurasia and the highest mountain in Siberia. There's no denying that this 15,580-foot mountain is beautiful, but it sure has caused locals a lot of grief. It first appeared about 6,000 years ago, with the first eruption being recorded in 1697. It's been pretty much continuously active ever since. Eruptions have been recorded with increased frequency since around 2007, with the most recent eruption taking place on December 9th, 2020. In January 2007, a new eruption cycle was kicked off, with ash plumes being erupted about 33,000 feet into the air before drifting towards the United States and disrupting air traffic from there to Asia. In early 2010, there were explosive ash eruptions and effusive lava eruptions, with ash clouds reaching nearly 20,000 feet. On and off weak explosions have been recorded ever since, with one or two small eruptions over a period of a couple of days before they abruptly stop. After a year-long hiatus, Klyuchevskaya Sopka picked up where she left off by experiencing regular eruptions from 2015 onward. Number 11. Mount Etna. Nothing describes a volcano as accurately as the name Etna. Mount Etna on the east coast of Sicily gets its name from the Greek etni, which means I burn, and it sure does. Mount Etna is known as Europe's highest active volcano, with its topmost elevation being around 10,900 feet. Scientists have been studying this volcano since the 19th century, so we've actually learned quite a lot about it. It's been active for the past 2.6 million years, with characteristics dating it back to around the Neogene period. Over the centuries, there have been several hundred devastating volcanic eruptions, but only small ones in recent years. Mount Etna has more than one active center, with cones forming on lateral fissures from the center and down the mountain sides. It also has 3 different ecological zones, each with its own unique vegetation. For example, the lowest zone up to around 3,000 feet has rich and fertile land for vineyards, citrus plantations, orchards, and olive groves. There are also plenty of densely populated settlements on the lower slopes, like the city of Catania. At heights of 6,500 feet plus, there are forests of oak, beech, birch, pine, and chestnut. Further up are bush, a few scattered plants, plenty of ash, and even some algae near the volcano's steam outlets at 9,800 feet. Number 10. Pacaya Volcano. The Pacaya volcano in Guatemala is proof that Mother Nature is fierce and we can't tell her what to do. The 8,200-foot volcano is one of the most active in the country and is positioned around 15 miles from Guatemala City. It lay dormant for about 7 decades, then decided to show its full force in 1961. Since that eruption, it has been active ever since. In fact, it's become even more active than ever recorded, with several powerful explosions in 2021 alone. Because of how vigorously it's been erupting, Pacaya volcano is stretching dangerously close to human settlements. Ash and gas plumes have been reaching heights of 13,000 feet and causing lava to flow around 2 miles down its west flank. The ever-advancing lava has now caused severe wildfires and wiped out entire plantations of avocados and coffee. Even as recently as April 2021, this volcano is showing Guatemala what it is truly capable of. The volcano has also resulted in lost lives. Noti 7 reporter Anibal Archila was one of the first to cover the May 2010 eruption that saw thousands of people evacuated. She was reportedly killed by volcanic debris. Number 9. Anak Krakatoa. As damaging as the 2018 Anak Krakatoa volcanic eruption was, it was actually incredibly informative for scientists who learned a lot in the days after the eruption happened. Anak Krakatoa is a volcano in Indonesia. In 2018, its flank collapsed and triggered a tsunami that killed over 400 people on coastlines around Java and Sumatra. The eruption climbed about 18 kilometers or 11 miles into the air and leveled out into the shape of an anchor. When the volcano wall failed, seawater came into contact with magma, which resulted in steam and ash being thrown into the air. Wet ash fell down quite quickly, but water vapor continued to climb into the air, forming that unique anchor shape that sat there for just shy of a week. Because the water was thrown so high into the air, it eventually turned into ice in the sub-zero temperatures at high altitudes. About 3 million tons of ice hung above Anak Krakatoa, with up to 10 million tons being produced in total. The movement through the plumes of the frozen material then caused lightning, with about 100,000 strikes recorded in about 6 days and up to 70 flashes a minute at one point. Number 8. Mount Untake. After Mount Fuji, Mount Untake is the second highest volcano in Japan. It's also the 14th highest mountain. It stands at an elevation of 10,062 feet and is included in the list of 100 famous Japanese mountains. Mount Untake is located about 62 miles or 100 kilometers northeast of Nagoya and about 125 miles west of Tokyo. It has 5 crater lakes and is considered a sacred mountain. Up until October 1979, Mount Untake was considered inactive. However, during that year, it ejected around 200,000 tons of ash, with minor explosions also occurring in 1991 and 2007. Typically, when volcanic eruptions are going to happen, experts get a bit of a warning by way of seismic activity. However, that didn't happen in 2014. On September 27th, just before lunch in 2014, the volcano erupted. It was an extremely rare event in that they didn't see it coming, which meant no one could prepare. As a result of not being able to put out warnings, 63 people lost their lives, 5 of which were not found. After that explosion, the Japan Self-Defense Forces carried out helicopter searches looking for the missing people. Number 7. Tall Volcano. The tall volcano may not look very dangerous, but you haven't seen it in full force. When it is, you definitely don't want to be anywhere near it. The tall volcano is located in Batangas, about 31 miles from Manila, and it's one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines. It has had 34 recorded historical eruptions and plenty of fatalities. In fact, because of the number of violent eruptions it's had, it's been responsible for the deaths of about 6,000 people on the island and in surrounding populated areas. The latest eruptions in the last few years were in 2019, 2020, and 2021. In 2019, the alert level was raised on the volcano because of its frequent volcanic activities. In 2020, it erupted on January 12th with ash spewing over a wide area, causing chaos with canceled flights and work schedules. Evacuations were also put in place because of a possible volcanic tsunami. Tsunamis weren't the only problem. Volcanic lightning occurred above the crater and ash clouds, followed by magmatic eruptions and lava fountains. In this eruption, 39 people died due to refusing to leave their homes and health-related problems during the evacuation. In 2021, increasing volcanic activity resulted in residents from Tall Volcano Island having to be evacuated. However, no lives were lost. Number 6. Fagradalsfjalls Mountain. Fagradalsfjalls Mountain is probably not a mountain you've heard much about. That's probably because nobody can pronounce it, but also because up until 2021, it wasn't up to much. This 1,263-foot mountain only started erupting in March 2021 in Geldingadalur, south of Fagradalsfjalls. Even up until June of the same year, it was still releasing fresh lava. The Fagradalsfjall mountain forms part of the Kruisvik Trollja. I can't find out how to pronounce this one on Google, so volcanic system in southwest Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula. It's been moderately active in recent years, but before the 21st century, it had not erupted since the 12th century CE. It's believed that recent activity on Fagradalsfjall mountain is related to unrest in several surrounding volcanic systems, including the unrest at the volcano next to Svartsengi and the Blue Lagoon in 2020. On April 5th, 2021, a 300-foot to 2,000-foot fissure opened up on the mountain to around half a mile on one of the still active vents after the March eruption. A wee while later, another fissure opened parallel to the first. Lava production has now been spotted in these new fissures, but by May 2021, only one remained active. This one was seeing explosive eruptions within its crater up to hundreds of meters in height. Number 5. Kilauea Volcano. The Kilauea Shield volcano may be the youngest in Hawaii, but it's also one of the most active. It's located on the Big Island of Hawaii at the southernmost end and has been near constantly erupting on the rift zones or its summit since around 1983. About 60% of its explosions have happened in the last 2,500 years. This volcano sits on the southeast flank of the Mauna Loa Shield volcano and is easily one of the most active volcanoes in the world. It has a large summit with a central crater and is home to the fire goddess Pele, according to Hawaiian legends. Up until around 1924, this famous volcano also contained a lava lake. Researchers believe that about 90% of the volcano consists of lava flows less than 1,100 years old. They also believe that about 70% of the volcano's surface is younger than 600 years old. Since the long-term eruption began in 1983, lava flows have now covered more than 100 square kilometers and damaged over 200 houses. It has also added a new coastline to the island. Number 4. Calbuco Volcano. It's not hard to see the Calbuco volcano as a beauty. After all, it towers above the surrounding forest and stands with an elevation of about 6,611 feet. This stratovolcano is located in southern Chile, southeast of Yanquihue Lake and northwest of Chapo Lake. Part of Calbuco is in the Puerto Varas commune, with lava containing up to 60% silicon dioxide. During the Holocene, which is our current geological epoch, the Calbuco volcano has seen 36 confirmed eruptions. 13 of these have been in historical times, right up until 1972. There have also been 3 from April 22nd to April 30th in 2015. In the most recent eruptions in 2015, there was little to no warning that they would occur. Large columns of ash were sent into the atmosphere on April 22nd, with everyone in shock. The following day, on April 23rd, there was another eruption in the early hours of the morning. On the Volcanic Explosivity Index, both eruptions ranked as a 4. However, since August of that year, Calbuco has been at its lowest alert level. Number 3. Mount Nyiragongo. Mount Nyiragongo is an active stratovolcano at 11,385 feet elevation inside the Virunga National Park of the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's west of the Rwanda border and has a main crater about a mile wide with a lava lake. No one's actually sure how long Mount Nyiragongo has been erupting, but it's erupted at least 34 times since 1882. Sometimes it'll go years without any sort of action, then all of a sudden kicks off with devastating consequences. In January 1977, the walls of the crater cracked, causing the lava lake to drain and flow down the volcano at up to 37 miles or 60 kilometers per hour. The lava flow was so fast that it overwhelmed villages and killed around 600 people. In January 2002, another major eruption took place, and about 400,000 people were made to evacuate. Lava ended up covering part of the Goma International Airport's northern runway and about 13% of Goma itself. itself. About 120,000 people were left homeless, and 245 people died from asphyxiation from carbon dioxide and collapsed buildings. Mount Nyiragongo erupted in 2021 as well. A highway to Beni was cut off by lava, and thousands of people had to leave their homes. About 32 deaths were also recorded, mainly from car crashes during the evacuation. Number 2. Mount Stromboli. Mount Stromboli is one of 3 active volcanoes in Italy, located off the north coast of Sicily on an island in the Tyrrhenian Sea. The volcano stands at about 3,038 feet above sea level and about 8,860 feet above the sea floor. There are 3 active craters at the mountain's peak, with a massive horseshoe-shaped depression called Sciara del Fuoco. This is one of the most impressive features of the volcano and was apparently created by several collapses over the last 13,000 years. For the past 2,000 to 5,000 years, Mount Stromboli has pretty much been continually erupting. The last serious one was in 1921, but there have also been a few in recent years too. In July 2019, a hiker was hiking around the volcano's summit when their group was struck by flying debris as it started to erupt. 6 other people suffered minor injuries in the same event. The following month, in August, another eruption occurred, causing a pyroclastic flow down the volcano's northern side into the sea. Ash columns reached impressive heights of over 6,600 feet or 2,000 meters. Number 1. White Island or Vakadi. White Island, or Vakadi, is an andesite stratovolcano located about 30 miles or 48 kilometers from the east coast of the North Island of New Zealand. The island is the most active cone volcano in New Zealand and has experienced continuous volcanic activity over the last 150,000 years. Guided tours and scientific research have long been carried out on the island without any issues. However, that all changed in 2019. On December 9th, a guided tour was taking place on the island when the volcano erupted, sending toxic gas, rocks, and ash 12,000 feet into the air. At the time, there were 47 people on the island. 22 of them were killed and 2 were missing and confirmed dead the following year. Many of those who survived suffered horrific burns that changed their lives. After the eruption happened, experts called it a phreatic eruption. This means that steam and volcanic gases called an explosion and launched ash and rock into the air. After the eruption, minor ash emissions were observed throughout December, but there were no further eruptions. There's something truly remarkable about watching volcanic eruptions play out. If you're a safe distance away from them, they can even be mesmerizing. Just don't get up close. Have you ever seen a volcano erupt? Do you live near a volcano? We'd love to hear your story in the comments. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time.